Hello. Today I wanted to take the time to answer another one of the questions. Like I mentioned in my last blog entry, I had a series of questions that were sent to me by a viewer. And the first question that I answered last time was, what does your everyday life as a writer look like? Today I'm going to answer the question about how I tackle my stories. A story first or characters first? And to tell you the truth, I've always been a firm believer in characters first, story second. And what I mean by that is that when I start off thinking of an idea for a book or of a story, I don't generally start off thinking about the big picture, what's the plot going to be like, what's going to be the climatic scene, is it going to have a happy or a sad ending, that sort of thing. Usually when I start pre-writing and planning, I focus more on characters. I think that the heart of every story isn't what happens, it's the people that it happens to. And the main character is the heartbeat of every story, and really I think that an author's greatest struggle and greatest delight is discovering that main character and getting to know him or her and getting to a point where the audience feels like he knows him or her too. So basically when I started writing Interrupted, and I first started thinking about my character Allie Everly, it's kind of a funny thing being an author, because when you first start a story, it's sort of like meeting someone new for the first time. I mean, you know a little bit about them, maybe you know what you have in common, or you know obviously what they look like, or maybe a few things you've noticed about their personality, but you don't really know them. And then you'll notice after several months or even years of talking to someone, of being near them, you start knowing things about them. Like the way you would the back of your hand, like the way you would your family. You know their likes and their dislikes and what makes them tick and what makes them happy. And it's really that way when writing a book. As a writer, at least I don't tend to focus on, what's going to happen at this climatic scene, who's going to do this and who's going to do that and how's it all going to end. I think, what does my character think about what has just happened? What does he or she believe about what just happened? And what are his beliefs going to play out, Everyone acts according to what they think to be right and what they think to be true. And I think that that's really how the story goes on. It's all about your character's personal growth, about taking a character from a spot where he or she may be afraid to do something, or he or she may not understand something, and really helping them mature to a point where the audience can really see a change and a difference in them. And I think that is what makes a story. It's not necessarily the things that happen, but like I said, the people that it happens to. So at least for me, I think that has to do with becoming my character's best friend. Yes, I have good friends that are actually fictional characters that I made up in my head. But I think it's helpful, and as a writer, it's very rewarding to come to a spot where a character that originally existed just as a figment of your imagination is now someone that you've seen grow and mature. And in a way it doesn't feel like you've done it, in a way it feels like it's done itself, at least if you've done your job properly. It doesn't feel like there's any work involved in it. It just feels like a really enjoyable journey of getting to know someone. And lots of times when the book finishes, I'm just as surprised as everyone else is, I'm sure, of how it played out. But it's all about being honest and about things happening the way they would in real life, and people responding to things the way they would in real life. So that's basically my answer to that, would be characters are real people too. At least they are in my head. And I just try to write the story in accordance to how I think that they would act. And that's basically what drives my stories, and I think that that's what makes being a writer such an enjoyable experience.